Well, Matt Robinson, with just over 2 weeks to go until the big kick-off, what's your assessment of pre-season so far?
Yeah, really pleased, Chris. Pre-season is predominantly getting them as fit as we need to get them. So obviously we're a little bit disappointed with the performances the other night, particularly at Kingstonian. But the whole point of what we were doing there, we wanted to have a 3-week lead in. Normally you have 2 weeks and then you start the games. We wanted to have 3 weeks to get their base fitness as high as possible, and we feel we've done that. And then we wanted to have the back-to-back games to make sure they were getting enough games. And I think obviously we felt just a little bit flat because on the back of the Brentford game where the performance levels were quite high and lots of things looked good, and then we went on to Tuesday night where it wasn't so good, as I said, particularly at Kingstonian. But the key thing behind it is normally that game you would have taken one squad, so a group of the players would have got 60 minutes and the other would have got 30 minutes. The way we did it on Tuesday, everyone's got 60 minutes, so they've all got 60 minutes in the tank. And then going Friday, Saturday, everyone will get 75 minutes in the tank. So doing it this way, we've had that 3-week lead in, and by the end of this weekend, everyone's done 75 minutes rather than sharing the minutes, which puts us in good stead. So although in terms of the teams we're sending for these games, so again we'll be a little bit weaker Friday, Saturday because we're splitting the squad and mixing youngsters in there. In terms of minutes, it works better, and it still gives us that 2 weeks. We still then got Woking, still got Scunthorpe, and then we got a whole week of preparation leading up to the first game. So, I'm really pleased, and the key things the boys are saying they feel really good physically, which is what it's all about.
So just ahead of Hampton and Dartford, it's a similar approach, just more minutes for the starters?
Yeah, so again, we split the squads. It'll be slightly different now. Some lads might do 60 and then they go and get 15 on the Saturday, but predominantly they'll all get 75, and then it'll be supplemented with the younger lads. So, the squad will be split. We've had to look at logistics a little bit because obviously we've got some lads live out at Kent, and it's a bit pointless dragging them over here when they live 20 minutes from Dartford. So that will kind of weigh up the starting lineup a little bit. But as I said, these 2 games, the key thing is getting that amount of minutes. Obviously we want to see better performances, of course we do. But the key thing is the weeks then leading up to the game that all starts to kick in.
What are your thoughts at the moment on the squad you've assembled so far?
Yeah.
Where are we with all that?
Yeah, really pleased, and there's still a couple more to come. But really pleased that the lads are getting on together, and now it's about, as well as the fitness over the next couple of weeks, getting a little bit of cohesion, building those relationships with the new players that have come in so they start understanding each other. Next week we will be doing more work on that, so you get those little relationships and arrangements between players so they understand each other's movement, which you saw on Tuesday wasn't really there. But again, it's difficult when you're splitting the squad, so we just got to accept that. There's always going to be a bit of a trade-off, but the key thing is, we want to be as fit and sharp as possible.
Are we edging closer on any of these targets remaining?
Yeah, I think so. Don't want to put the markers on it, but yeah, one, as far as I know, is very, very close. And then the other one we might need to wait. We had a little bit of a setback on an option that we wanted. There was a bit of a setback there. It's not dead in the water, but there are other options for that as well. So I'm confident we get there. It's just the second one might take a little bit longer.
And also other players going out on loan from this squad to non-league clubs, so they're making progress there.
Yeah, so Corey is going out, as you know, so Corey will be going out to Aldershot, which is again an ideal loan for him to go and try and score goals at a level. He hasn't played any successive games since he was at Kingstonian. A lot of these lads lost out due to COVID, the young pros, because they weren't in the squad and they didn't have any games, so they need to get out and get loads of games. And we're due with Hussein. I've decided with Huss that we're going to get him out. As I said, it would have been very easy to put him in the squad, but I always promised myself that I wasn't going to do that and let lads sit on the bench and not get game time, so I'm going to stick with that and get him out playing games, because I think that's best for him and that's going to get him quicker to where we want him to be.
What about Will Nightingale and Dan Choker? How are they getting on?
Yeah, Dan trained today, so he'll be involved, which is good. He'll be involved Friday or Saturday. I think it's Saturday Dan will be involved, which is good. And Will, again, it's just a little frustrating one. He's working so hard. He's like doing extras. It's just contact. It's just we don't want to take that silly risk. You know, we could play him and he could be absolutely fine, but there's just no point taking that risk and turning what is a very, very minor sort of chip into, say, he falls on it, it becomes something bigger. So we're just waiting for that to completely heal. But that's not far away now either.
And you mentioned about Hussein. You want to see the likes of Hussein and players like that coming into our first team before they go elsewhere?
Of course we do. That's what we want with every player. But you know, life's not always perfect. You know, that's what we want with all our young players. We want to come in and make an impact with us, and preferably us move to where we want to be, and then they stay even longer. You know, me as a head coach, I don't want to sell anyone. Obviously, the club's perspective might be different because we have to have a mixture to bring in funds. But me as a coach, I want them all playing for us and taking us where we all want to go. But you know, part and parcel along the way, you're going to get situations like have happened with Coxey. You know, and as much as you don't want it to happen, you then just have to make sure that we still look after him properly and he goes in the right spirit and the club get rewarded suitably, and that's what's happened.
Also, in the last few days, tickets put online for the Scunthorpe game. We obviously need 4,000 fans in that West Stand. What was it be like for you to see all those fans in that stand cheering on the Tons?
Yeah, it'd be fantastic, and I appreciate, and I don't mean this in any disrespect to Scunthorpe at all, that the fans, you know, for full fan fault, we might have got some, you know, a Premier League club, but again, you know, COVID just put pay to all sorts of plans that we had because everything got moved around. But it'd be great to have Neil Cox back and his Scunthorpe team, and yeah, again, I know it always feels like we're asking the fans to do things, but to get a fantastic turnout would be absolutely brilliant, and we need it. And again, the fans were great. They turned out in great numbers again the other night. I thought the Kingstonian one would be the bigger supported one, but there was a fantastic crowd at Met Police, and I had a message from their manager just thanking everyone, because I think there was like nearly 450 people there. So, you know, the fans, they always come up trumps, and it'd be great if they could do it again for that game.
And the Brentford game, we've seen them clapping the players onto the pitch and clapping them off at the end.
Yeah.
Quite unique, really, for pre-season friendly.
Yeah, and you know, and as I want to build, it's so important to build that attachment between the players and fans, and obviously it only happens if the fans see, you know, something to get attached about. So we have to put in performances, win, lose or draw, that brings the fans closer to the players, and not just on the pitch, in the way we behave off the pitch as well. So I know pre-season isn't always everyone's cup of tea, but for me, the quicker we build that bond, the better.